We now turn to another type of ASL sentence in which you have two different clauses combined together in one sentence. These types of sentences are called conditionals. Conditionals in ASL always begin with the condition, that is, with the if part of the sentence, and they are then followed by the result. Conditionals in ASL might be signaled by signs such as if or if, suppose, but they must always include raised eyebrows. Sometimes you'll simply see the raised eyebrows without either of the signs for if or the sign that's glossed suppose. Here are some examples of each of those types of conditionals. That would be, if you fix the computer, I will pay you. Or, that would be, if you were to unplug the lamp, the light would turn off. And then finally, and that would be, if I land late, I'll give you a call. Notice that in the first sentence you have the sign if, in the second you have the sign suppose, and in the third sentence there's no sign indicating a conditional, only the eyebrows are used to indicate the condition. For some signers, the sign suppose indicates a more hypothetical situation, something that isn't necessarily expected to happen, whereas the signs if or if indicates things that are more likely to happen, things that are possible. For other signers, however, the signs are interchangeable. So it really just depends on the dialect of the person you're speaking to as to whether or not the sign suppose means something a little more abstract, a little more hypothetical than the sign if. However, regardless of the way that you sign if and suppose, there's another use of the conditional that's a little bit different from the way that we set up conditionals in English, and that's the use of the when. In English, we have a particular word that signals a when clause, and that is the English word when, and we'll say when this happens, then this happens. And it's different from a conditional because it's not only talking about something that might happen, it could even talk about something in the past. So we could say something like, when the World's Fair was held in Paris, the Eiffel Tower was erected. English speakers don't think of that as a conditional because it's something that definitely happened. But in ASL, the sentence is still constructed in a way where you raise your eyebrows for the first part of the sentence to say, okay, this is the condition, this is what was going on when this other thing happened. So here are some examples of sentences that might be interpreted using when rather than using if. The first example. And that would be, last week when he got there, he didn't call. Or when he got there last week, he didn't call. Notice it doesn't use an if, because we're talking about last week, something that definitely happened, but we still use the conditional facial expression. Also notice that there's no use of a sign when, which only indicates a question word in ASL, or the sign happen, which some people mistakenly believe is necessary every time a when clause is interpreted. The second example. In that example, you have the conditional facial expression with the signs he show up, but you also have the negation. So you can have the negation at the same time you have the conditional. If he doesn't show up, you will worry, or when he doesn't show up, you will worry. And then the third example. Next year when I graduate, I'll work as an interpreter. Or when I graduate next year, I'll work as an interpreter. Again, notice there's no use of the sign when happen or the sign when. They're not necessary because all of the clauses if, suppose, or when use the same facial expression with the raised eyebrows.